You already know it goes. I'm ready to go to Maldives again. You wet on the balcony and you on your tippy toe. How about we take shots and after make it dry the bowl? Get you something to tell your bestie. Talking the best she shouldn't have had no. Wake up mimosas, sip on that and sip on yo. I won't gas it up, baby, my feet to the floor, pedaling. I'm on your side and lonely. Lord knows who you better with. I know you tired, nigga, you with. I know you tired, baby, you're settling. I don't know who got your eye, baby, but I just need a little more peace. Wait till you die till you hit the memo. I don't know what's on your mind, but I'm thinking it a little more me. You already know it goes. I'm ready to go to Maldives again. You wet on the balcony and you on your tippy toe. How about we take shots and after make it dry the bowl? Get you something to tell your bestie. Talking the best she shouldn't have had no. Wake up mimosas, sip on that and sip on yo.
Doors open up like wings on an angel. She bend on me like her hands to her ankles.
Welcome everyone, welcome. We are here. We are supposed to be on Dive Team Media's Instagram and YouTube, but it's still under approval. Has to have a 24-hour approval for that. So we're right back here on the Splashcast. Remember, we are the Splashcast, Saturday morning live, Monday night Raw, 11:30 on Saturday, 8:30 on Mondays. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. We truly appreciate y'all. I am one half. I am Reggie, one half of the dynamic duo that is myself and Norwood. So y'all know what it is when it's Reggies Recaps. We have a little bit of... I do this by myself on Thursdays because there's a few things I want to talk about, kind of get into the nuts and bolts of things, especially since it is now mock draft season. So with it being mock draft season, I definitely want to get in on kind of talking about the Hawks and talking about the Falcons as well. What I will say is I definitely will talk about Justin Fields today, kind of the Falcons free agency, as well as I'll talk, including Justin Fields, of course. And then I will also talk about, do a little recap of the Hawks game. The Hawks kind of got beat by the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn with no Ben Simmons or Cam Johnson. Cam, I can't think of his last name, that came out of LSU. Basically, their sixth man, the version of Bogey. We lost that game. So we'll talk about that as well. And then I'll talk about what the Falcons should do with their first pick. What's up, G-Code? What's up, Russ? Good to see you, brother. I'll talk about the Falcons' first pick as well. I think with the route that we're going, I have a feeling of who we'll draft. The few mock drafts to come out from the experts, and I think, of course, our draft will depend on what we do in free agency and how we address the quarterback position. With that being said, let's start out with the Hawks, man. So we can go ahead and get started. This. All right, can you guys hear me now? You should be able to hear me now. Sneaky, what's good, brother? You should be able to hear me now. Give me a thumbs up. Give me anything. Give me any sign that you guys can hear me. But you should be able to hear me right now. The Hawks went and got beat 124-97. Really wasn't even a close game. Appreciate it. It wasn't really even a close game. The Hawks just got absolutely mollywopped. Cam Johnson and unfortunately Dennis Schroeder came out and absolutely caught fire from the 3-point line. Cam Johnson, I believe, ended the game with 8 3-pointers. I know he had 7 through 3 quarters. He was 7 of 11, 29 points. Dennis Schroeder, 5 of 7 from 3, 23 points. So you can't, it wasn't even that close of a game. DeJounte ended up getting hot, 11 of 19, 28, 5 and 6. Jalen, of course, gave us 14 and 5, but Bogey only gave us 11, was 4 of 13, and we really didn't shoot the ball well at all. We were 8 of 28 from 3, and I just told you Cam Johnson hit 7 3-pointers by himself. So we started out really bad. I think it was like a 16-4 run to start the game. We did get the lead whittled down to about 6 points a couple times in the first and second half, but I don't think the Hawks led the entire game. It was a wire-to-wire game for the Hawks. No Ben Simmons, like I said, no Cam Thomas. The Hawks were coming off 2 wins where we held the opponent to under 100 points. Everybody was saying, oh, Trey's out now that we're finally playing defense. Oh, we're sharing the ball. Man, Brooklyn scored 124 points, dog. I told y'all, yes, Trey is defensively inefficient. He's not really that great, even though he's gotten better. He's gotten better to be bad. He was terrible, and now he's just bad at defense. But he does give you a lot more effort. But at the end of the day, those 2 games that we won, Paolo Banchero didn't play. And the game before that, if I'm not mistaken, who did we beat? We beat the Jazz. In the game, it was the Magic. We beat the Magic, and then we dominated the Jazz. Now, the Jazz had a game similar to how we had a game against the Nets. They really just couldn't shoot the ball. That's how they won. That's how we won 124-97, and then we lose 124-97 by the exact same score. I will say I am impressed about Kobe Buffkin. I really do like that guy. I still don't know why we're playing Garrison Matthews and we sent AJ Griffin down. But at the end of the day, man, if you can't get stops and you can't stop anyone, then it's over with. And the issue I have with the Hawks, and this will be my closing thing about the Hawks defense, we always allow somebody to get hot. Like Cam Johnson is their 3-point shooter. Mikal Bridges can shoot 3-pointers. Hell, Dennis Schroeder is about as petty a person other than Trey. Like, he's going to remember, and he used to play for the Hawks, so you knew he was going to come in locked in, and we gave them – yeah, we did. We gave them all open 3-pointers to start the game. Like, it was like we didn't even show up. So once a 3-point shooter sees 1 or 2 shots go in, the way the game has progressed, there's no way you're going to stop that. There's no way you're going to stop it. And they just kept going. One interesting move that the Hawks did make was they brought in Trent Forrester and waived Patty Mills. While I see what they did, because Trent basically, he can't play more than 50 games and be able to come up. So he had exhausted that 50-game limit, and they had to figure out something to do. And Patty, while he is a great locker room guy, I mean, not really losing much when you get Trent Forster. You're actually gaining defense and a little bit of size on the court, especially now that Trey's hurt. But I do want to say, man, y'all get rid of that Trae Young. The Hawks are better without Trae Young foolishness. I do think Trae needs to learn how to play off the ball. I think DeJounte Murray is a better floor general, but we definitely need Trae. Definitely need Trae. All right. Moving on, I know this is why G-Code is here. Russ is here. I know why this is a few other people are here watching this, man. I know you guys want to talk about Justin Field and the Atlanta Falcons and what the Atlanta Falcons are going to do in the offseason. The combine has started. D linemen have run. We'll get to that as well. For the Atlanta Falcons. We all know that deals really get made at the combine. This is when front offices and scouts and general managers and coaches all are in the same place, all can meet face to face. And it's kind of like summer league for the NBA. You know this is where it's going to happen. Justin Fields' odds to land to the Falcons have gone up or to like minus 250, meaning he is the heavy favorite, heavy favorite for he is the heavy favorite to come to the Falcons. Of course, the Steelers and now apparently the Raiders and possibly the Vikings are interested. I think this is all a smokescreen. I really do think it's between the Steelers, the Raiders, and the Falcons. I think the Vikings are just trying to figure out what they're going to do with Kirk Cousins. I mean, we know Kirk Cousins isn't coming back, but they got to figure out what they're going to do. But Justin Fields to the Falcons pairing with Bijan Robinson, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts along with Allgeier. Man, I am excited, especially if they're talking about giving up a second round pick. When we get to the mock draft portion of the pod, I don't know how we'll be able to do that in terms of trading someone. Maybe we'll just draft a random player and say it doesn't matter. But I am hopeful. I'm not confident because this is the same buzz that we had for Deshaun Watson. Y'all remember that? Deshaun Watson, the Falcons were heavy favorites, and then Cleveland came in with like $70 million and signed him. Now, I will say, yeah, I know, Russ, all the weapons. Now, I will say, when it comes to the front office, I don't think we'll ever see a contract of that caliber for a player in Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, even though he was proven, he didn't. He still had like controversy. Justin Fields isn't proven, so I don't think we'll see somebody come in and scoop Justin Fields for, $50 more million and resign him, especially because you can control him for 2 more years. I will say, I hope if we do trade for Justin Fields that we sign him not this year, but you will probably have to sign him. If he has a decent year, you got to sign him after this year. Otherwise, you're going to end up ponying up a lot of money, and you don't want to get stuck with a Daniel Jones type player. But I think Justin Fields is definitely worth the move. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I hope it happens for a second-round pick. I wouldn't give up more than a second. Maybe a fifth. Maybe a third. They're talking about 2 seconds, but I think these picks are valuable. I also don't want to give up a player, though. If you had to give up one, I've seen a mock trade where it was Justin Fields for Allgeier in a second. While I wouldn't want to give up Allgeier, I think you need 2 running backs. The Chiefs have kind of proven that it's kind of difficult to have a bell cow running back nowadays. If we can get Justin Fields, you can draft another running back. Sorry, Allgeier. It is what it is. Justin, or we go to the draft? Yeah, we definitely are going to the draft. We are not going to go for any other. We're not going to go for any other veteran quarterbacks. Justin Fields being a veteran per se at 24. We have interviewed Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels. We've interviewed all three, or we've set up interviews for all three at the combine. So I think this time, instead of going for, I think Terry Fontenot has learned, and instead of going for Deshaun Watson and then not having a backup plan, I think we're definitely going to have a backup plan this year. And if we don't get Justin Fields, we're going to draft one of those immediately. We may even trade up, depending on how aggressive they want to be. We shall see, though. We shall see. Some other free agency news. Bet y'all didn't see this. I did. So the Chiefs' star cornerback, L'Jarius Sneed, has been franchise tagged. He is a free agent, and he was franchise tagged. By being franchise tagged, that means he's going to command, I think, like $20 plus million. Well, you know that they have Chris Jones. Chris Jones also has to be re-signed, and they can't franchise tag them because they use it for L'Jarius Sneed. To me, using the franchise tag and was just a way to keep him from going to free agency. They're definitely going to trade him. They don't have enough salary cap in order to actually keep him and Chris Jones and sign a receiver. Now, if they go to the draft and trade up and get a receiver, maybe. But I don't see them being able to sign a receiver and Chris Jones and keep L'Jarius Sneed. And he has been heavily linked to the Falcons as a team that could trade for Sneed. If we trade for Sneed, we definitely would be able to still trade for Justin Fields. I would be interested to know what we would give up for L'Jarius Sneed, knowing that Kansas City can't keep him. Assuming that you get Justin Fields, that means you've already given up a second round pick this year. So you'd have to give up next year's and maybe a first next year, or a first and a third. I don't know. This would be some wheeling and dealing for me. I don't know how it will work, but the recent moves that we've made, Sneed and AJ. The recent moves that we've made with cutting Jonnu Smith, creating that cap space. I don't know what we're doing with Cordero Patterson, but it seems like he may be on the way out. There's a couple other players that we haven't signed that we let go. So I think we're clearing up cap space to be aggressive. We're being aggressive. Now, if we can sign Sneed, trade for Fields, and Sneed's not a free agent. He got franchise tag. If we sign Sneed, if we get Sneed, and then we trade for Fields, assuming that the Jaguars re-sign Calvin Ridley, that pick turns into another second round pick, if I'm not mistaken. So that still would give us another second round pick. So we would probably use those picks and next year's picks to get Sneed and Justin Fields. Another person that I think, so Fields and Sneed are realistic targets for the Falcons. There's another sleeper in free agency, Danielle Hunter. Now, here's the issue with Danielle Hunter. He wants $25+ million. But the Falcons offseason, if you've been reading the tea leaves, it's been quarterback. They've been linked to cornerbacks. They've been linked to now Jalen Ramsey and L'Jarius Sneed. And we know Raheem Morris is a DB, former DB and DB coach at heart, although he coached everywhere, and he coached receivers too. So we've been linked to those guys, but we really haven't heard about the pass rush. I am hesitant. I see some of our viewers are saying don't waste cash on the pass rush. I see why you say that. Historically, the Falcons have been terrible. They have been terrible at signing defensive ends. We got John Abraham. That was it. Dwight Freeney was, I guess we can't say real bad. I mean, we got Dwight Freeney and John Abraham. But, I mean, it's either hit or miss with both of them, or we get somebody that's like really, really, really bad. Even in drafting, we're not good at drafting defensive ends either. I will say with the new 3-4 system, I think AK-17 will be able to kind of show off his speed pass rush a little bit more. But I wouldn't be opposed to signing a DN. But if I had to choose between L'Jarius Sneed and Danielle Hunter, I will probably take L'Jarius Sneed. Just because he's so good, and we'll put him at the 1, and then having AJ Terrell at the 2 with Clark Phillips at the nickel. That looks scary. That's kind of a scary threesome. Pause if necessary. We already got our linebacker set. We're actually getting one of our linebackers back who tore his pectoral muscle out of Montana. He was a beast. So we're getting him back. At that point, you've kind of addressed most of your issues in free agency. That would be a dream scenario for us. L'Jarius Sneed, Justin Fields. I don't think we can get Danielle Hunter, but we can keep it. So that brings me to the mock draft. Many mock drafts have gone through. I've done plenty of them. The first ones that I've seen that come out is Dallas Turner is the favorite for us to pick in the mock draft. In almost every mock draft, especially since the Justin Fields odds have come out. So with Dallas Turner being there, that one tells me that we are really seriously considered trading for Justin Fields. And 2, with him and AK-17, they will be an issue when it comes to the speed rush. Today at the mock draft, Dallas Turner ran a 4.47 40. Which is really, really good at 6'4", 6'5", 240 pounds. I think he could probably add about 10 and then get down to a 4.5, 4.6 40. But his speed off the edge plus his ability to turn speed to power with the straight arm bull rush, and as well as he has multiple moves. One thing the Falcons can never pick when it comes to picking a defensive end is somebody that can do more than one thing, right? You have the defensive end that can either speed rush or power rush. They either can get around the corner, but they can't really do anything, on running downs, or you have the guy that's a bull rush and he can set the edge, but he can't get to the quarterback. The reason you want somebody that has a little bit of both is because you need somebody, if they're going to get to the quarterback, they need to have a counter. Chris Jones that was the third best 40 today. Yeah, he was super fast. Chris Jones, while he's not fast, Chris Jones has an arsenal of pass rush moves that he uses at the end and at the tackle position. When you have a counter move, you're almost unblockable because you're already faster or stronger than the offensive lineman. You're normally one of those. So if you do that and you can get them off balance, it's a super problem. So I am happy about this mock draft when it comes to Dallas Austin. It is fantastic. He would be a great pairing. Yeah, he does have, right, Sneaky. He does have a lot of length. He has long arms. He's a beast. I have seen other mock drafts where it had Malik Neighbors, And let me tell y'all something. Either way that they go, I would not be mad. I would love Dallas Austin. I would love Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors with Justin Fields in that group, at that point, you're the Pacers. You're the Pacers of football. Like, this is the greatest show on turf. You need to be looking at the Rams. Ironically, that's where Morris and our offensive coordinator came from, the Rams. But I was talking about the greatest show on turf, Rams. You need to start looking at that and using Bijan like Marshall Faulk. And at that point, you are almost, if Justin Fields is a third of as half as good as we think he is, at that point, you become a problem. And our defense is already decent, but we are switching to a 3-4, but we have the personnel for a 3-4. Yeah, so I believe you too, Sneaky. If Malik Neighbors falls to 8, but see, that's the thing, man. You already have offensive beasts, but you're right, man. Malik Neighbors will be a problem. I rebuke that. We are not going to draft J.J. McCarthy. We are not going to draft J.J. McCarthy. We are not going to draft J.J. McCarthy. Do not bring that up. I hope he goes to the Patriots. But then again, if he goes to the Patriots, he'll end up being Tom Brady. Whatever. As long as Justin Fields gets us to a championship, I don't care. But with that being said, I think I would still go. You're right. You can't pass on Malik Neighbors. You can't, right? If Dallas Austin and Malik Neighbors are there, who are y'all taking? Are y'all taking Justin Fields? Y'all taking Malik Neighbors, or y'all taking Dallas Austin? Dallas Austin is a music producer. Dallas Turner. Are you taking Dallas Turner, or are you taking Malik Neighbors? The defense in me if I were a defensive coordinator, or if I were head coach of the Falcons, and you trade for Justin Fields, I think defensive wise, you're set. But Neighbors at the 2, Bijan at the running back, Kyle Pitts plus Drake London, and you have to almost play zone, and then at that point it's just being able to read coverages, or you can play man and Justin Fields can run for whatever. I think Malik Neighbors is going to be faster than Dallas Turner, but one plays receiver, one plays D-line. So the fact that we don't know is really a feather in the cap of Dallas Turner. But at that point, what I'm saying is I would take Dallas Turner because I think he adds an element to our defense that he would make our defense even more scary. Could you imagine quarterbacks having to worry about Jesse Bates? I'm going to say streets are paved in gold. Jesse Bates, L'Jarius Sneed, A.J. Terrell, and Dallas Turner. We ain't even talk about Grady Jarrett yet. I think that makes everybody on our defense better because you can't double anyone. At that point, you would just need to draft the D tackles to be able to, clog up the run. I trust Raheem Morris. The question was, if you draft Turner, you trust your staff to clean up his game. He's a great athlete, but he's raw. So here's the thing. If you go back and actually look at the tape, he has a lot of moves. I trust somebody to be able to clean up someone that has moves already. If he didn't have any moves, like he didn't have the straight arm to power move, he didn't have the swim, he didn't have the rip, he couldn't do all of that stuff, I would be nervous about him. Because then at that point, he reminds you of there was a Tim Williams at Alabama back in the day who was drafted by the Ravens. He couldn't really do anything but speed rush, but he was so good at it in college. But they just started running the ball at him, and he really, at that point, became useless because if you can't run, he was like 230 pounds. because he has so many moves in his arsenal, so many pass rush moves, I trust Raheem Morris to develop him versus if he didn't. With that being said, though, I wouldn't be mad if we get Neighbors. Wouldn't be mad at all. Wouldn't be mad at all. So this is it. Justin Fields, L'Jarius Sneed, Dallas Turner, Malik Neighbors. Which one? I don't know. Probably Dallas Turner. I'm taking Dallas Turner. That's what I hope for. Because I think plus, as good as Malik Neighbors is, in the second, there's so many wide receivers in this draft. There's so many. You could get Xavier Worthy in the second round, which means you would have to go get probably a receiver to play the Z, the second receiver, because he's not going to be your second receiver. He's going to be the guy that takes the top off the defense. But I don't think there's a lot of great pass rushers that will fall to the – I think all the pass rushers will fall to the second round. And in my head, we are getting Justin Fields and L'Jarius Sneed, and I don't know if there's an ability to wait on another good pass rusher because you won't be able to afford one. Now, if we don't, it is what it is. So, but with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this was a quick show, solid 30 minutes. Told y'all these Reggies recaps won't be that long. I'll get in, get out. Pause. We talked about the Falcons. We talked about the Falcons. We talked about the Falcons, free agency, mock draft. Then we also talked about the Hawks, man. So the Hawks, to finish up that Hawks conversation, they will stay in New York. They have to play the Nets again in 2 days. And then we will play the Knicks in a big game. Unfortunately, Trey won't be there. But if we can win those 2 games as the Hawks, we'll be able to go from the Cavaliers. We play the Cavaliers, who right now are the second best team in the East, I believe. Second or third. So that might be an L. But then we play the Grizzlies, the Pelicans, the Trailblazers, the Jazz, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Suns, the Hornets. So we got to win these games against teams that are around us. When I say around us, their record is a little bit worse or a little bit better. We got to win those games if we're the Hawks, because if we don't, it's not going to happen. We're already in the 10th position. We just lost to the team that we're fighting for the final play-in position. And our March isn't easy. We play, again, I said the Bucks, the Celtics, the Suns, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Pelicans, the Cavaliers. Those are the teams with winning records that we play. So this is going to be a tough little stretch, man. And Trey's out, but it's pretty much the end of the season, if I'm not mistaken. I think we got 8 games in April, and that's where it kind of lightens up a little bit. Hopefully all of the seeding will have taken place, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of Reggie's Recaps for Thursday, man. I hope to get this done every Thursday, especially because of mock draft season. Next week, we'll probably do another mock draft based on the results of the entire combine. The combine is over with on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, DBs, all of that comes on the weekend. Of course, you know, those are the main ones we're trying to see. So we'll keep our ears to the streets, ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep our ears to the streets when it comes to the Falcons. If y'all want me to follow another team, I will look at the mock draft for the other teams. But I'm letting you know right now, I am focused on the Falcons. I am in GM mode. I might as well go ahead and start a Madden season. So we'll be back next Thursday, same time, 10:30, and we'll go from there.